All right, what is going on, everybody? Today we are going to be taking this thing out for a test drive. Finally going to give you guys some actual driving of the vehicle. We'll also be seeing if we can't find a spot to maybe run a 0 to 60 or a quarter mile. I'm going to be strapping you down here to the display. Hopefully y'all will be able to see this okay when we turn it on. Gonna give you a little comparison between everything today. So we're gonna be running it in electric, we're gonna be running it in hybrid, and we're also going to be running it on power mode. I will be doing a 0 to 60 in all three of them, so you can kind of get a little comparison on what to expect when driving in each mode. We will get going here. Also, we'll be looking a little bit at this here. If you go, your regular drive mode is 2 clicks back. The B is your brake assist mode. So as you're going, it will actually electronically brake for you, recharging the battery. You can see on that meter there, the little blue with the electricity is obviously your electric power. When it drops under that, it gives you the little battery charge symbol. I'll show you here. This is no brakes. This is just letting all the way off of the throttle. It'll drop down there, and as you can see, it slows down pretty quickly. So essentially, that little blue graph or little blue bar is like your RPM gauge for your electric. And then anything above that, you can see the little, what looks like a water drop. When that is lit up, that means your engine is on. And if you are in the red zone, which will kind of come on afterwards, I'll show you here in a little bit, that will be running the gas only. Let me actually switch here. If we put this into pure mode, that will change that, get rid of that little water drop there, or gas drop, and it will give you the full tachometer of just the blue, which will be your electric percentage. As you can tell, it is very quiet. There's really no noise from anything. You can hear a little bit of the hum of the electric motor, but for the most part, you're just hearing tire noise and road noise. Also, another weird thing is cruise control. If you set this, when you click the button, it jumps by 5s. You can see the little miles per hour on there. I've never had anything do that. It's a long press. We'll actually just jump it up by 1 at a time. It's kind of annoying, but you get used to it after a while. So we are going to be pulling onto the highway here pretty soon. I'll switch it back into hybrid mode here. That will give us our gas back. And I'll show you as we get around this clover leaf here. Now it's about 1/3 or so throttle. Once you start going, it'll hit that bar and it'll sit there. If you give it any more, that'll drop that away and it will put you on gas, and it will accelerate much quicker that way. Now it'll float on gas for quite a while. I don't know if it still uses like electric as backup while you're doing this. I would assume it does, just to give you the extra power of both in hybrid mode. But right now it's warming up the engine. The first startup is always a little longer. Usually it switches back to electric pretty quick afterwards. But you'll see here eventually we're kind of a little bit of a downhill that should eventually kick back, and that blue bar will come back up and that little drop will shut off. There it goes. So as you can see, that came back up, motor shut off. Now it is back on just pure electric mode. It does drive pretty nice. It's not quite as quick in electric, but I mean, it's 143 horsepower and about 220, I think it's 227 foot-pounds of torque. So it gets up and goes pretty quick, but once you're on the highway doing 75 and you step on that, I mean, even going down a hill here, I mean, it moves pretty good, but definitely not as good as it does when you're running that gas motor. It does do, let's pull up my trip miles here. It looks like this is today's mileage. I mean, we've been on gas a little bit, 146 miles to the gallon on 7 miles, and that kind of climbs up pretty quickly. And I do believe too, if you ever have to hit the throttle really hard, it will pop on that gas right away. So even if I just tap it to the floor, it pops that thing on. And now it still has the electric on, but it definitely has that gas motor running in the background. Oh, see there, it shut off already now that it's kind of gone through a cycle and warmed itself up. Coming up to a stoplight here, I will actually switch it into power mode, and I'll give you a little demonstration of that, since that's probably mostly what everyone is here to see. So as you can tell, I still haven't had to use my brakes yet. Once that drops down, you can see that little battery meter there. That is showing that it is charging. So up until about right here, once you get under about 7 miles an hour, that regenerative braking pretty much cuts out. Alright guys, I gotta cut in right here. So I forgot in my last time out filming to do any more pulls either in pure mode or hybrid, so I'm going to throw those in right here before we get to the ones from power mode. But also I was going to say I did hear back from the dealership on the Polestar tune. For anybody who is interested in that, if you get the T8 model, they do not have a Polestar tune for it yet. What is the date today, in case anyone is watching this in the future? It's September 29th. They told me the T8s take a while for the tune to come out. He said to expect about another 6 months before we see that. So maybe March next year sometime. So I will not be able to make a video about that one until the springtime when it warms up and the roads clean off a little bit, but I guess it'll be just in time for making it out to the track next year, which is kind of what I'm hoping to do with that. Also, I'll cut out a part where I wasn't too sure about something the previous time I filmed, but I did end up finding out that there is a speed limiter on this thing, and it does cut your power and limit your speed to 112 miles an hour, which I thought was kind of interesting, seeing as they advertised the vehicle with a 155 governor on it. I'll try and do one right here really quick. see there, it does switch back very quickly into electric mode. That was hybrid. I did not have enough room in this spot to do a pull. I was actually just kind of curious what it would do. Looks like, as far as my 0 to 60, set that back to about 4.8 seconds. So I'll post the times on that. It's not really as big of a deal. I did get a recording of the electric already, so I will throw those 2 clips in there. I figured, you know, I'll do, I think I got 2 or 3 pulls on power mode, but that's probably what most of you guys are interested in. Anyway, back to what I was saying. This is restricted at 112 miles an hour. Obviously, I right now don't really have a place to test it out, but I had read online that they have temporary acceleration above that. If you're like going wide open at 112, let off the throttle all the way and then mash it down again, that it will disable the speed limiter and let you accelerate up to that 155. Don't really have a good place to test out getting up over 112 miles an hour right now. But if I ever do, I will definitely post that. When I talked to the service guy at the dealership and asked him about the Polestar, he was unaware of there being a speed limiter on this vehicle, because I have gotten it over 112 before. I've done about 125, but I was out somewhere that I could do that at, so I don't know if there was a point that I let off and temporarily disabled it without knowing. But either way, if you guys are planning on getting in this thing and going to a track, right at about 104, 105, it lets off the power and then it just slowly coasts up to 112. Now, when I was running a quarter mile, I was hitting that quarter mile at 110. I think it was like the one I did at 110 was a 12.9, and with that cutting power at about 104, obviously it could do it much faster than that. I would assume that I'd be able to pull at least 10-15 miles an hour out of that if it was able to keep going, because it's still building good power at that speed. But just so you guys know, I figured I would cut in with that and just make sure everyone was aware and didn't try and go out and get surprised like I did, and all of a sudden you're wondering why your car won't accelerate. It's some kind of safety feature from the Swedish people. They want us to be safe, because apparently you can't die at 112 miles an hour. You can die over it, so whatever, I guess. We'll figure that out. I'm also going to see if the Polestar Tune can remove that. When I go in for it, I'm on a waiting list. I will be talking to the mechanic there to see if there's anything they can do with that. So that'll be another thing that if I am able to get it tuned out, I'll make a video of that, and I'll let you know if there's anything that you need to do for it, because I'll be getting it done. Because if I were to ever go to the track, that would be pretty annoying to just get stopped about 2/3 of the way down to the track and just be like, oh yeah, this is as fast as you can go. Have fun coasting to the end. But yeah, I think that was the only other thing that had come up. I can cut into the video at any time if there's anything else, but for now, enjoy the rest of it. What I'll do now is we will go and turn it into power mode. It is hard to hear it on the side of the highway here, but it definitely, even more than the hybrid, when it's in hybrid mode, it doesn't make a whole lot of noise. In power mode, it does have a little bit more significant engine noise. Also, that will bring back your full tach, so that will get rid of the lines, just the blue and the red. It will bring back the whole RPM gauge. You'll go up to 6,500 RPM. and that will make a significant difference in power even over hybrid mode. So we'll start moving here, see if you can hear the motor a little bit. Tell it's pretty much effortless for that to get up to 75 miles an hour. Pass this guy here real quick, I'll show you a little more. Brake mode, you can still feel a lot of drag on it. I'm not sure if that still uses the regenerative braking. I'm assuming it still does, because you can kick it into drive mode and then it just free rolls really nicely. But it doesn't actually give you that little charging symbol that it does when you're on the other mode. Shot an old video here once. It's actually, if you guys go on my YouTube channel and find my my 0 to 100 and I think it was 120, 130 video on my Impala that I made a few years back, you will actually see this exact same spot we are going to run from here. Stick on this ground. The pavement was a lot nicer the first time I did this. There's actually some burnout marks. I think that was from me trying this the other day too. But we'll see what we can't do right here. start to this one. If you were coming up and you had a light turn green and stepped on it. 0 to 60 times. I'll show you the app that I use here. It's just the Torque Pro. So you got your best time, 4.4 seconds, 0 to 60, 0 to 80, quarter mile. We never got that 60 to 120, but even the 80 to 110, you're only looking 3.2 seconds on that. Apparently this thinks I'm going 158 miles an hour right now, even though I'm stopped. But all right, that's all for today. Hopefully you guys like this one. Expect a lot more on this car yet to come. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for more.